Now, let's do the fourth one. The fourth one that is like the bare minimum. And the reason I do this one is because it's going to give them exposure to the back, as well as it's a great way to practice what's the first thing that you should do when you stand up with your opponent. Okay, so this is the warm-up from standing. It's the fourth flow. And that being said, it's going to be almost identical, right, to our standing series. So go to intro to standing, and it's going to be the same exact thing, okay? So when I stand up with my opponent, the first thing I want to do is I want to try and get their head below my head. If I can get their head below my head and their shoulders out of alignment with their hips like that, man, I'm doing a great job. I'm winning this battle. So the first thing I want people to do if they ever get into a fight with an opponent, right, don't put yourself underneath them by like taking a shot, especially if I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I can be strong, I can grab the back of their head, and I can get their head all the way to the mat. Look at all his tools to fight me are facing the ground, and he's giving me back exposure. Okay? So you can do this one of a couple ways. I can either use both my hands, and I walk backwards as I snap them to the ground. I keep my chest on their back, just like that. Or if he's strong, I pull his head down. I can't get him to the mat. And I just grab his head, shoving his head in my armpit or underneath my chest. And then I use my whole body weight on him to bring his body to the ground. Now, this person needs to be a good partner. If he just falls over to his hips or something like this, it's not going to work. And somebody in a match or a real fight isn't going to flop over. So this person needs to be a good partner as well. So giving just enough resistance that the move works. Okay, I look at how I like get off my knees and I drive into him right here. And now I'm going to put pressure on the back of his head, on his arm, or if I'm hugging his head, I'm going to reach across all the way to the tricep. So that way, as I try to run around, he doesn't block me right here. I'm going to grab his tricep so now he can't block me. Or, like I said, I'm going to put my hand on the back of his head, bring your arm over here, and I'm just going to grab his bicep right here as I go around to the back. Okay, now once I get to the back right here, immediately I'm going to scoop around the waist. My knee is going to go into his knee. My other knee is pointing towards the ceiling behind his butt. All right, I'm going to hug around the waist. Now I'm going to use my knee to dig into his knee and flop him right into my lap. Boom. Take his back, both hooks in. Get the choke. Boom. Okay, and that's that. That's all it is. And then the other person goes. If you want, the other person can do an escape too, and we'll kind of cover that right now. So, one more time. We're right here. I'm going to grab the back of his head. I'm going to pull him down to the mat. If I can't get him to the mat, I'm going to grab his head. I'm going to pull him down, chest on the back. Go around to the back, knee into his knee, and I'm going to force the back take right here. Get the choke. Boom. After I get the choke, he can practice getting his head out of here. Yep, push, 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 facing towards me. And as I go to chase him, he just like does a combat and like escape right here and stands up, does a tactical stand up. And then we both stand up and then the other person goes. So that way somebody gets a takedown, back take, choke, the other person gets a defense, and we get back to our feet. But we practice that over and over. So again, 2 hands on the back of the head or 1 hand if you're that strong. I'm trying to walk backwards. I do not want to pull him into my legs right here and then him take me down. All right? I pull him, pull him, pull him, chest on the back of the head, just like this. Okay? And I guess when I said chest on the back of the head, I'm meaning like chest on the back of his shoulder blades all the way down to his neck and head. Get around to the back. Now, the biggest mistake I see is people stay with their chest way up here like this. This is no good, or getting their seatbelt from right here. This is no good, and I'm not going to get into it right now. Why? I need you guys to get in the habit of once you're here to slide all the way back to the hips, and now I'm hugging the hips. I do not want my hips on his hips, and I do not want to chase the back right here. I want to make the back come to me. So if I'm on this side, for example, I'm blocking the knee, I'm keeping this seatbelt grip around his waist, and now I'm going to pull him over my knee, and I'm going to put this hook in, go to the other side, get the hook in, get the arm out, and start choking. Okay? Come back right here in the turtle, please. So once I have the turtle right here, if I were to just pull him back, his butt ends up on top of me. Watch this. and this is not good. So I can't get my hooks in right here. This is going to give him an escape, and maybe I could come up on top right here. Either way, it's a scramble I don't want to deal with. Okay? So let's have him face that way. So as I'm right here, I'm actually pulling him over, and I'm going to make this little saddle right here for him to sit in. This little saddle. I'm going to just pull his hips right into this little saddle. So I'm going to get right here, and I'm going to pull him over my knee into the saddle. Hook goes in, roll the other way, hook in. Notice I still have double underhooks. And then I can start going for a choke, or I can start going for my arm bar, just like that. Right? And then we go back up, and then he does it. So, he does a snap down all the way to the back, submission, then I do a snap down all the way to the back, submission. Okay? And you'll get faster and faster and faster at that. So let's do a couple. All the way through and through. Now, the reason why I stopped right there is because if you get a little bit more advanced, the other thing you could do is if your partner and you know what you're doing, you can make this a sprawl. So if he goes for the takedown, boom, I get my arms in, sprawl, and then I start going for my series. If you want that series a little bit more in depth, you can go check out my standing, intro to standing, and we cover that in a lot of depth.